Welcome to the You Need More Money podcast. I'm your host, Matt Monero, where I come to you each and every week from my studio in Dallas, Texas. Exciting things going on in Dallas, Texas, particularly in the high school lacrosse world, where my son Johnny Boy is going deep in the playoffs with his team. They won last night against a very tough team. They were down 6-3 at the half. They scored 4 unanswered goals, and they won the game 7-6, which really throws my travel schedule off because I was supposed to be in California Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for a business conference. Now I got to cut my trip short, pay for the flight change and the hotel cancellations and all that sort of stuff, but I got to be back for Saturday's game for round 2 deep in the state playoffs in Austin, Texas on Saturday. So really cool stuff going on. And starting to pay off for Johnny Boy too. He's just recently gotten 2 offers to play D1 lacrosse in college. He's a junior. So that's cool stuff, man. Let's get back on point to the message of today's podcast. It's called Hard Money, Then Easy Money. Everybody's talking about you got to get passive income. Everybody on social wants us to know how easy it is to get passive income. And let me tell you something, it's all bullshit. Passive income is very difficult. Passive income is what I call the easy money, and there ain't no easy money unless we go through the hard money. So I want to walk you through some steps of what I've been able to do to get through the hard money phase to start to put myself and my family and others around me into what we might call an easy money phase. And here's how it plays out, and you just got to trust me on this. This is how it plays out. It starts with having to make hard money. Stuff that you work your ass off, dollars that you work your ass off to make. And the first thing you got to do to get great at making hard money, which you don't get to easy money unless you get through hard money, is you've got to pick your platform. You might be in the wrong platform, the wrong industry, the wrong career, and that will haunt you for the rest of your life. You've got to make sure that you're in an opportunity, a platform that gives you the chance to eventually get to easy money. Now, what I mean by that is either earning enough in your existing job that you can save 40% of your income into your stack and rack your reserve account, which we'll talk about one more time in a minute. Or if you're in business for yourself, you have to make sure that the business that you've chosen gives you the opportunity to make the extra money that is needed to be invested to eventually get to easy money. So I cannot stress to you enough that step 1 of hard money is making sure that you're in the right platform, that you can generate enough tokens to put yourself in a position to eventually make easy money. Step number 2 in the process of getting through hard money to eventually get to easy money is you got to get past break even. Sooner or later, you just got to get past the break even amount. You got to make more money than you need to live. That's called break even. I bring in $1, it costs me $1, I'm at break even. Sooner or later, you got to get yourself past break even. You must make more than it is required for you to live. That is literally the first 2 steps of getting out of hard money, getting through the hard money stage to get to easy money. Number 1, you got to be in the right damn platform. Number 2, you got to get yourself past break even in that platform. The number 3 thing you got to do is you got to keep skilling up. You must become an expert because, as you've heard me say many times before, experts get paid and amateurs get crushed. Now, learning to learn is the key here. You may have been a lousy student. I was a lousy student. You may not have liked to have done your homework. Neither did I. You may have turned in your papers at the last minute because you worked on it an hour before you turned it in. Me too. But that has no bearing on the requirement for financial success that you must learn to learn. You've got to get good at researching and learning and understanding and networking and figuring out, how do I learn what I don't know? And you really have to enjoy that process. I'm going to give you a perfect example here. This is a real estate investing example that exists in my personal life. I just recently, as some of you know, I do limited partnerships for real estate. And I just recently got my K1 statement on one of the deals that I'm in. And my K1 showed that I made $90,000 in 2018 on the K1 off of this real estate limited partnership that I'm involved in. And when I tell you I made 90 grand on that K1, I literally did not lift a finger for that 90 grand. Now, that's not 100% true because I had to lift a finger to pull the trigger to allocate the capital to get into the LP, the real estate LP, to get to K1. But that's another story that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. There is tremendous courage required to lift the finger to pull the trigger to execute on the investment. But as far as what I have to do for that money, the answer is nothing. It's literally mailbox money, and it comes to me at the end of every month. However, when I was looking at that K1, I was saying to myself, that's really interesting to me. Because I made 90 in the distribution on the K1, but the property lost $238,000. I started saying to myself, well, who's getting that write-off? If I'm able to write off the $90,000 to offset the distribution income and not pay taxes on it, great. But who's getting the difference? Who's getting the difference between the 238 and the 90? And of course, that's the general partner in the partnership real estate deal. I'm the limited partner, and the other guy is the general partner. And if you don't know the difference between a GP and an LP, you should just simply type it into YouTube and learn the difference between being the general partner and being the limited partner. But I started to say to myself, well, how do I get my hands on this difference, man? How do I get my piece of the difference? Why am I only getting 90 of the 238 and somebody else is getting the 148,000 that's different? So, knowing how to learn, I put myself back in that state of mind and I go to work to learn. And I start to do everything I possibly can to understand the differences between the LP and the GP position in a real estate partnership. So what I do, I called my CPA. I called my friend who owns 5,000 doors. What's the difference, man? How's it going? How do I get my hands on this? The difference between 238 and 90, this 148, how do I get my hands on it? I watched, no bullshit, at least 100 YouTube videos on taxation of limited partnerships and also how to become the general partner on real estate deals. I've read at least 50 articles by Googling the same search. And I block time for learning, which everybody should do. Most of my learning occurs on my way to the office and on my way home from the office. I never listen to the radio. I'm always listening to areas in which I want to learn. So for me, if the traffic's bad, it takes me 30 minutes each way. I get an hour at least worth of learning every single day on stuff that I know I need to get better because I like to learn. I've taught myself to learn. So what's the end result? What happened on this K1 thing? The first thing you realize is that being the general partner on the deal is a totally different ballgame. You're the lead on it. You're the person that has to go through all of the other stuff that the limited partner doesn't have to, and you get a greater tax benefit if you are treated as a real estate professional. Those are the criteria of being able to maximize the depreciation benefit is you must be a real estate professional. Real estate professional, I believe, is deemed at 14 hours a week. It's something like 700 hours a year must be allocated to the field of real estate. Well, the IRS is pretty tough on that requirement. They might literally check your calendar to see how much time are you spending per week in the real estate profession. And unfortunately, I'm not going to qualify for that. I don't spend 14 hours a week in real estate. I don't have my real estate license. If I did, that might be better. I'm not outside my personal residence. I'm not the GP on other things. So I miss that qualification. But through the process, you also understand what else is required to be the GP, right? The GP's got to find the deal. The GP may have to go through hundreds of deals. They may have to spread the financials and look at the numbers on hundreds of deals to maybe find one or two deals that they even make an offer on, and maybe they only get one or maybe they get none of them. They also have to market the property. They got to manage the property. They got to advertise the property. They got to fix the property. And the bottom line, while there is a greater benefit to being the GP from a tax standpoint and potentially from a cash flow standpoint, but that's not always a guarantee either, it's not for me. I like the LP side of things. I'm staying on the LP side of things. I've made the decision that the move to GP versus being an LP in real estate partnerships is not worth it for me. I'm good with the LP. I'm good with making the passive income the easy money. But my point in giving you that personal example is that's the definition of learning to learn, the ability to dig in, find a problem, recognize it, see a potential opportunity, and then do the research to minimize the risk. And after I did all of that, I said, you know what? It's too much damn work. I got easier money at commercial fleet, just staying in here running a damn business versus going out there and trying to find real estate properties that I can be the GP and make a little bit extra money on, maybe double what I'd make. That's not little, but it wasn't worth it for me. So I'm staying at the GP, at the LP level right now, rather than the GP level. Let's get back to how you get through the hard money stage to get to the easy money stage. You got to bust your ass. Hard money comes with busting your butt. And I'm talking it ain't 30 or 40 hours a week. I'm talking hard money happens and you get through the phase of hard money to get to easy money when you're putting in at least 60 hours a week. I'm talking 12-hour days, long days, committed to the business, committed to the career, to become the top producer in the industry, to be the top manager, to be in the top 1%, to be able to make the money, to spit off the tokens that you can put away to eventually lead you to easy money. I'm telling you, hard money isn't just hard to earn. You got to work to earn it. But once we start doing that stuff, right? Once we're getting past break even, we've picked the right platform, we're skilled up, we've learned to learn, we're getting great, we're becoming an expert, and we're working our butt off, something happens. It's called false positive. It's when you actually start to believe that you're doing better than you really are. Now the bills don't come on the pink slips anymore. You can actually take that fancy vacation. You can buy the new ride. You can buy the boat. You can buy the $2,000 Prada purse for the birthday that you didn't prepare for, so you just went out and dropped 2 G's on the purse just to get the check mark that I bought her something. It's absolutely critical for you to stay out of false positive. False positive happens in both the hard money and the easy money phase. But when it happens in the hard money phase, you haven't made the easy money phase. It's disastrous. So you have to be very, very, very careful here, because just because you're not broke anymore and it's not quite as hard for you to make the income and pay the bills, it doesn't mean you can stop. You've got to keep your hand on the throttle and stay out of false positive, because once you ain't broke anymore, sometimes your motivation is going to drop. It might even just dwindle. You might even forget about it. You might begin to say, I'm good. And what a terrible use of words in a life in which you're trying to get to the next level financially. Stop telling yourself you're good. You've heard me say this 100 times. Now we got to get to stack and rack mode. You got to get that reserve account set up, and you got to be funneling money into it. The stack and rack account, the reserve account, is what will fuel the liquidity to be able to put yourself into investments that allow you to move to easy money. Because once you're starting to stack and rack, you begin to do the networking thing. You start to put yourself in a bigger pond. You start to be okay with being the poorest guy in the room again, not the richest guy in the room. Man, if you're at your family reunion and you're the richest guy at the family reunion, you should only be there for the afternoon. You want to be around the richies, the ones that got the money, because they got the money and the deals. And if you've, in the middle of this hard money phase, you're stacking and racking cash, you got your reserve account highly funded, 100 grand or more, and the deal comes along, guess what? Now you can pull the trigger and start to move into the deployment of capital phase, of hard money to easy money. Because sooner or later, if you're ever going to get to the easy money phase, you have to deploy capital. The capital lives in your reserve account. You've stacked and racked it from your hard money days, and now you have the ability to put it to work. It's tough, it's scary, but it is vital that eventually you take cash and deploy it into investments that make you the easy money. Those investments are extensive. It could be your business. It could be hiring more people in your business so that you can earn income off other people's efforts. It could be in limited partners in real estate. It could be buying a franchise. It could be doing different marketing stuff that gets your phone ringing so it's easier for your salesperson and salespeople to produce business and revenue for your company. There's a million different ways to allocate the capital, but you got to put yourself in a position in which when you deploy capital, it gets you closer to the easy money phase. You also have to understand the impact of time. I cannot explain this more clearly to people. The people who tell you that easy money happens quickly are wrong. Easy money doesn't happen unless you go through hard money, and hard money means you got to understand time. It takes time to get to easy money. It takes time to bust your ass in your business or your career. It takes time in your business to get your company culture figured out so that it starts to spit out tokens for you and your teammates and coworkers. It takes time to figure out your niche. What are you going to be good at? What is your business going to be good at? There are riches and niches, but sometimes it takes time to figure out those riches in niches. It takes time to get your customer base built up. It takes time to get your staff built up. It takes time to get your investments that you deployed the capital into to pay off. Hell, it takes time for that property to go up in value. It takes time for the impact of raising rates or building the new playground so you can raise rates. It takes time for real estate to pay off, man. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time for the passive income to happen. It is not an overnight process. Look, I want you to do it faster than I did. I want you to take time out of the equation, but it is still going to be a factor. It just doesn't need to be the factor that it took me. You should be more successful than me in your first 10 years in business. I want that for you. But it ain't going to happen in your first 6 months or 12 months or 18 months. And it's probably, in all frankness, hard money isn't going to happen until at least 5 to 10 years of busting your ass. But if you're 35 and you bust your ass through hard money and you're 45 years old and now you're starting to taste a little of that easy money, that mailbox money, was it worth it? Of course it was. If you were 25, you're 35. By the way, if you're 45, you're 55. If you're 55 and starting to commit to making hard money to get to easy money at 65, good for you, man. Make that decision now to bust your ass and get through the hard money time to get to the easy money time. And I'm going to give you just a little last tip. And I've heard, you guys have heard me talk about this a bunch. By the way, all of this stuff is in my book, You Need More Money. Get it on Amazon. You need to hedge time with insurance, because even if you don't think you can get through the hard money to get to easy money for yourself, it should still be a dream to get it for your heirs. And what I mean by that is if you die early, you should have enough insurance, whether it's term or it's universal or whole. I don't care where it comes from. I recommend term because you're a hustler. You're going to be working. You're going to buy term life insurance and you're going to invest the difference. But if you die early, like I've seen happen so many times, and the insurance pays out at $1 million or $2 million or $3 million or $5 million to your heir, guess what? You just passed on the gift of easy money. Now, I ain't saying easy money for your kids. I'm saying easy money for your spouse. If you died too early, if you died in the hard money stage because you just didn't have enough time to get to the easy money stage, but you left your spouse with, let's just say, $1 million because of your insurance play, and they turned it into a 6% annual return, they're making 60 G's a year in easy money. Good for you, my brother. And you didn't even tap into the principal. They still have the million and it's throwing off 60 G's a year. You helped your heir get into easy money because you were smart, and during hard money, you hedged your bet with insurance. I cannot say that highly enough. I don't make a nickel in recommending insurance, but I'm begging you, Google term life insurance in your local area and buy as much of it as you can during the hard money phase, because if you die without getting out of it into easy money, you may be giving the gift of easy money to your heirs. So you got to have passive income at some point in your life. You have to have easy money. Whether it's the business that you're in is spitting out enough tokens without you having to kill yourself anymore, awesome. It's a version of easy money. Or you stack and racked and you put it and you started to deploy it into these different areas, franchises, investments, private equity, angel, real estate, whatever, mutual funds, index funds, however you want to deploy it to generate passive income. It has to be a goal of yours. And trust me when I tell you, the goal is the income, the easy money income. But really the goal is the financial freedom to live your lifestyle by design that is designed by you. I'll see you down the road.